Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. If you're just now tuning in to my videos for the first time, a while back I bought this house for a little under $12,000 and I'm doing a full renovation on it, doing most of the work on my own, but then I'm also going to try to hire out some of the different projects along the way. For example, in this video we're going to focus on nailing down the shingles, and for that I hired a roofer. The reason is just to kind of start to form a network of tradesmen that I can use in future projects to where not every renovation takes so long. If you're curious about how I'm buying houses so cheap, you can check the description below for the links to my book that I recently wrote on the topic. The title is Cheap Houses: How I Find and Buy Inexpensive Real Estate. It's available on Amazon as well as a direct download from my website, and soon to be an audiobook version as well. Enjoy the rest of the video. For those of you that are new or just don't remember, this is what the house looked like when I first bought it. These clips you're going to see here are just a preview of all the work that I did in preparation for having the shingles installed. Basically, I'm extending the overhangs and resheathing the roof, along with a couple other tasks. If you'd like to see these individual projects get taken care of, go back and watch those previous videos. It's a lot of work was done before these roofers actually showed up. Two hours after the materials were delivered, this roof is done. I am blown away how fast they worked. It was the roof is about 10 squares and it was 4 guys. I know that roofers are quick, but still, compared to me doing this on my own, not having done a lot of roofing, I don't even own a roofing nail gun. You know, they banged it out. The cost to have it all nailed down was $580. So the fee involved the shingles, the ridge cap, and then their nails. I bought all the other materials and had them delivered, and the delivery charge was $30. So the materials plus that $30 fuel charge was $1,070. So that's the cost to do the roof. That is excluding the cost to extend the overhangs, the new sheathing, and the tar paper. I'm kind of, you know, that was sort of more on the construction side of things. Also the drip edge, you know, it doesn't include that. I'll get more into the cost of things later, but people have been asking how much things cost and want me to include that, so wanted to kind of mention that. So let's go up on the roof and we'll take a look at a few of the details. So everyone's going to have their opinion, but I'm just going to talk about the way this roofing project went, and y'all can share your comments below. The overhang past the drip edge is about 1.5 inches, and then it's about, I think, 1 inch, 1.25 inches on the rake boards, so over the drip edge on the rake boards. I used architectural, so this is GAF Timberline HD. That is the brand and model shingle. So here's one of the roof penetrations. Got the vent coming from the kitchen sink, and then there's the boot. Looks good. They cut nicely around things. Let me go to this end and we'll look back down the whole house. So there's the roof. I like the variation in the architectural shingles, the dimension of them as far as versus 3-tap. Also the variation in color gives the roof a little more texture. So this roof is not perfectly dead flat. There's some sagging in the trusses. Everything is strong enough, but over time I think the heat of the attic kind of let some of those trusses sag down because they weren't properly supported when they were constructed or installed. Here is the ridge vent. So the overall, so from here to here, wait, where am I pointing? Down at the end of this, this is a 20-foot ridge vent. So we've got about 4 feet there and 4 feet there. So yeah, that sounds about right, because my ridge line, the total ridge is about 28 feet. So I've got a 20-foot ridge vent and a 28-foot ridge, but there's also 2-foot overhangs. So the actual gable wall is about right here. The ridge vent itself is an Owens Corning product. This is the roll. So again, that roll is 20 feet long, and it's basically, for those that are not familiar, just corrugated plastic, and then the underside of it is ventilated. So the gap that I cut earlier in the video was 1 inch to either side of the ridge, the actual ridge, and if you have an actual ridge beam running down versus trusses like I have, you cut 1 inch off either side of that actual ridge. So that gives you 2 inches of airflow. Since I have 2 layers of sheathing, I actually backed it down more to 1.25 inches to either side. Because of the angle of the cut and that thickness, the actual opening on the underside of all the sheathing was reduced. From an earlier video, you've seen that I installed the vent for the bathroom fan through the roof. I probably should have gone through the gable end wall on the back side of the house just to eliminate this opening in the roof, but I didn't. I just went this direction. I wish I would have done the other, but that'll be all right. But just wanted to show the shingling around that. I may end up doing something. I'm not sure if they did or not, but I may end up coming in here, lifting this up and putting some sort of some of that roofing tar in a caulking tube up under there, just to kind of ensure that that doesn't end up with any water, because you could have water kind of come here and then kind of dams up, and then you might get some more sideways flow, and then, you know, you do have some nails in here, so I might end up kind of tarring over those. And, you know, some people may say, well, that's the roofer's job, but I'm not going to nitpick every last little thing. I like the job that these guys did, and if I want to come up here and be picky, you know, be the picky homeowner over a few things, I can do that. But I want to keep them happy, you know, for if I use them in the future again, they're responsive, they get the job done quick, and they're not just scared of me as a customer or just being a whiny little you-know-what. So, again, I'm very pleased with them. And then there is the other vent stack coming through the roof. So that's pretty much it for up here. I got asked by right many people why I didn't do the roofing job myself, with it being something that is relatively on the simple side, and having already done so much work on my own and a lot more complicated work. One of the reasons is that, again, the roofing is not all that complicated, so I feel confident in other people doing it. For me, having other people do work for me can be a little bit hard because I've always just done everything on myself, whether it was working on a house or something else. So this was sort of practice for me to kind of let go and let some other people take care of things. For $580, someone else did all this in just 2 hours. It would probably take me, 2 days to do this on my own, and I might get a helper, and what's our time worth? I could just go make one of my farm tables and make, a lot more than $580 in the same amount of time. So I'm not concerned so much about the money. The thing that was hardest for me was just to let someone else do the work. I was kind of paranoid about it. I was thinking, well, what if they're doing it and I don't like the way it's going down? But in the end, these guys have been roofing for 30 years. So outside of maybe some worry about me thinking they might get lazy on something, they have experience. I don't even have a nail gun for doing roofing, so I would have had to go on and bought that. That's, $100 for a cheap gun right there from Harbor Freight. So I'm glad I did it. I'm completely happy with the job. I don't think I would have done any better than they did. So I'm glad that I just kind of let go. While they were doing that, I did a little bit of filming, but I was inside the house working on the electric panel, labeling wires, pulling some of the old wires out of that box, and kind of using my time for something else that I'm not going to pay somebody to do. So in general, the type of work that I would get someone to do, stuff like the roof, drywall, jobs that don't really require a lot of thinking. When it comes to doing the framing, where I want to run the wiring, the extending the overhangs of the roof, stuff like that is things that I need to think about, and things that if you just got someone else to do that, that would be expensive. And I think it would just be involved to a degree where I might as well just do it myself. With the roof, they just showed up, they banged it out, and they left. Again, very pleased with the progress so far. Of course, this whole project is going longer than I initially planned. At first, I was just going to do a real quick little cleanup and rent it out, and now it's turned into all this. But again, I'm glad. I get asked all the time, is it really worth it to be doing this? Should you just have built a new house? For me, no. I've kind of told some people in the comments, and in my recent book, I kind of mentioned it, but I've already made another real estate deal as a result of this house. So I've already basically bought and sold another house directly as a result of owning this one. I ended up making more than I paid for this house in that deal, and didn't spend any money at all on that deal because it was just bought and sold so fast. So just doing things is how other things happen. A lot of people will kind of hem and haw and wonder how things happen, and they'll just study on something instead of jumping in and actually just getting moving. And that getting moving is when stuff's going to start happening. People ask me all the time, how do you know how to do all this stuff? Well, when I started, I didn't. I bought a crap hole house, and I learned how to fix a crap hole house. That's how you learn. It's through experience and actually doing something. It's not always through going to school or apprenticing. All those things are extremely valuable, but sometimes you just kind of have to just get going, and you'll figure things out as you go. So that's it for this video. Hope you all are enjoying it. If you enjoyed the video, do click the thumbs up button. Leave a comment below. If you have any questions, let me know as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. You can visit my website, thehomesteadcraftsman.com, and of course see that channel. Also, right now I'm doing a lot of milling of a huge walnut tree, so if you'd like to see that process that will end up leading to making some furniture in the future, be sure to check that out. All those links will be in the description below, along with Instagram, Facebook, and other things. Thanks for watching. See you next time.